Welcome to my channel Super Rare Coins. Today is best top 3 coins. Please don't skip this video. So let's get it started. The 1956 Canadian 5 cents coin holds an important place in the history of Canadian coinage, representing a period of post-war economic stability and growth, and marking the early reign of Queen Elizabeth II, who ascended the throne in 1952 following the death of her father King George VI. This coin belongs to the small nickel series and continues the use of the iconic beaver design that had been adopted for the denomination in 1937 under the reign of George VI. At the time, the 5-cent coin was made primarily from nickel, which gave it a distinctive silvery appearance and durability. The 1956 issue is particularly interesting to collectors because it is part of the first decade of Elizabeth II coinage in Canada, and it reflects both the youthful portrait of the monarch and the traditional symbols of the Canadian wilderness. The obverse, front, of the coin features the first definitive portrait of Queen Elizabeth II designed by Mary Gillick, which shows the young queen facing right bare-headed with a laurel wreath adorning her hair. This youthful effigy is notable for its elegant and classical style, free from a crown, intended to reflect a sense of modern monarchy and grace. Surrounding the portrait is the Latin Elizabeth II Dei Gratia Regina, which translates to Elizabeth II by the grace of God Queen. This design was used on Canadian coins from 1953 until 1964, making the 1956 coin an early example within this effigy period. The reverse, back, displays the iconic beaver on a rock design created by G.E. Kruger Gray, introduced in 1937 as part of a complete redesign of Canadian coinage. The beaver, one of Canada's most recognizable national symbols due to its historical importance in the fur trade and its industrious nature, is depicted crouching on a log or mound surrounded by water. Above the beaver is the word Canada, and below it is the denomination 5 cents, with the year 1956 positioned beneath. The initials KG for Kruger Gray appear subtly near the base of the design. The coin's edge is smooth, plain, as is standard for this denomination, and in terms of specifications, the 1956 Canadian 5-cent coin was struck in nickel, 99.9%, giving it a bright metallic luster when freshly minted. It weighs 4.54 grams, has a diameter of 21.21 millimeters, and a thickness of approximately 1.76 millimeters. These dimensions were part of the post-1922 standard for 5-cent pieces, which had transitioned from the earlier silver half-dime to the nickel format in the early 20th century. The mintage for the 1956 5-cent coin was around 11,164,000 pieces produced by the Royal Canadian Mint in Ottawa. This number is moderate compared to other years, making the coin relatively accessible to collectors today, though high-grade examples remain more desirable. No special mint marks were used on circulating coins in 1956, but proof-like and specimen strikes were also produced for collectors, typically exhibiting sharper details and mirror-like fields. From a historical and economic perspective, 1956 was a time of growth and modernization in Canada. Nickel coinage was widely used in everyday transactions, and the 5-cent coin had significant purchasing power compared to today, capable of buying small household goods, candies, or contributing to larger purchases. The coinage system was stable, and this denomination was a key part of daily commerce. The numismatic value of the 1956 Canadian 5 cents varies based on condition. Circulated examples are usually worth a small premium over face value, while uncirculated, mint state coins, especially those graded MS-63 and above, can fetch several dollars, with gem-quality pieces, MS-65 or higher, commanding even more. Proof-like and specimen strikes may have additional value depending on rarity and preservation. Collectors often seek coins with full original luster, sharp beaver detail, and a clear unmarked field on the obverse. There are no major varieties or errors officially recognized for the 1956 issue, but minor striking differences, die cracks, or planchet flaws are known to exist and may carry interest among specialized collectors. Coins with full steps on the beaver's mound or well-defined laurel leaves on the Queen's portrait are particularly prized. Culturally, this coin reflects the early years of Elizabeth II's reign, a period marked by optimism and a strong connection to the Commonwealth. The use of nickel, a metal abundant in Canada, notably in Sudbury, Ontario, also symbolized national pride and industrial progress. Over time, the 5-cent coin in Canada has remained in circulation, but its material and design have changed. The beaver design, however, remains a beloved national emblem, enduring through multiple portrait changes of the Queen and even into the era of King Charles III. Next, the 2008 Canadian 5 cents coin, also known as the Canadian nickel, is a modern representative of one of Canada's most iconic coin denominations, deeply tied to the nation's trade history, industrial growth, and cultural heritage. Minted by the Royal Canadian Mint, this coin features the enduring beaver design on the reverse and the effigy of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse, symbolizing Canada's continued connection to the British monarchy and its traditions. The 5-cent piece has been in continuous production since 1858, initially struck in sterling silver and later in nickel-based alloys. And by 2008, it had already undergone numerous transformations in terms of composition, weight, and artistic style. This particular year falls within the modern plating era that began in 2000, where Canadian coins transitioned from solid nickel to a more cost-effective multiply nickel-plated steel composition. The 2008 coin reflects both the technological advancements in coinage and the cultural continuity of Canadian money. The obverse of the 2008 5-cent coin features the fourth official portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Canadian artist Susanna Blunt and introduced in 2003. This design marked a significant departure from previous royal portraits, as it portrays the Queen without a crown, wearing a simple pearl necklace and exuding a sense of approachability and modernity in line with Canada's evolving identity as a diverse and independent nation within the Commonwealth. The surrounding the effigy reads, Elizabeth II D.G. Regina, translating to Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen. The portrait faces right, as all Canadian coins bearing her likeness have since her first effigy appeared in 1953, maintaining a long-standing tradition of right-facing profiles. The reverse design showcases the beaver motif created by G.E. Kruger Gray in 1937, a design that has become emblematic of Canada's wildlife and industrious spirit. The beaver shown perched on a rock or log amidst water symbolizes the fur trade era and the hard-working character often associated with Canadian identity. Above the beaver is the country name, Canada, while the denomination, 5 cents, is placed below it, along with the date, 2008. The designer's initials KG are discreetly located near the bottom of the design. The edge of the coin is smooth, plain, consistent with all standard Canadian nickels. In terms of physical specifications, the 2008 5-cent coin has a diameter of 21.2 millimeters, a thickness of approximately 1.76 millimeters, and a mass of 3.95 grams, aligning with the standard introduced in 2000 when the Royal Canadian Mint adopted the multiply-plated steel planchet technology. The core of the coin is made of steel, while the outer layers are composed of nickel and copper, giving the coin a bright silvery appearance and excellent resistance to wear and corrosion. This advanced plating process also offers enhanced security features, making counterfeiting extremely difficult. The mintage for 2008 was substantial, as the nickel remains a key denomination in Canada despite discussions over its long-term utility due to inflation and the rise of electronic transactions. Tens of millions of these coins were produced for regular circulation, primarily at the Royal Canadian Mint's Winnipeg facility, which is responsible for most of Canada's circulating coinage. In addition to the regular circulation strikes, the Mint also produced limited proof-like and specimen versions for collectors. These collector pieces were struck at the Ottawa facility using specially prepared dies, resulting in sharper details and mirror-like fields. From a historical and economic perspective, the year 2008 was significant for Canada and the world, as it marked the beginning of the global financial crisis which affected trade, investment, and economic policy worldwide. Despite economic challenges, the production of low-denomination coinage, including the nickel, continued steadily, with Canada choosing to retain its 5-cent coin even after eliminating the penny in 2012. The 2008 nickel thus occupies an interesting transitional period in Canadian monetary history. It belongs to the modern plated era, yet retains its traditional role in rounding, vending, and small change transactions. Regarding collectability and value, the 2008 Canadian 5-cent coin holds primarily face value in circulated condition due to its high mintage and modern issue status. However, uncirculated, mint state examples, particularly those graded MS 65 or higher, may carry a modest premium among collectors aiming for complete date runs of Elizabeth II's coinage. The proof and specimen strikes, being of much higher quality and lower mintage, are more desirable, especially if preserved in original Royal Canadian Mint packaging. No major widespread error varieties are officially documented for the 2008 issue, but as with most modern coins, occasional minting anomalies such as die chips, die clashes, or off-center strikes can exist and are sought after by error collectors. Symbolically, the 2008 Canadian 5-cent coin continues the legacy of a denomination that has survived dramatic shifts in Canada's monetary system, including the removal of the silver content in earlier years, the shift to nickel and then plated steel, and the ongoing debates about the future of small change in a cashless era. The beaver reverse serves as a cultural reminder of the animal's role in shaping Canada's economic foundations during the fur trade era, while the obverse portrait of Queen Elizabeth II represents the constitutional and ceremonial continuity of the monarchy during a time of rapid social and technological change. Finally, the coin embodies the Royal Canadian Mint's innovation in coin manufacturing, being part of a period when Canada became a global leader in multiply plating technology and advanced security features, exporting its minting expertise to other nations. In a modern context, while its face value remains modest, the 2008 nickel stands as a small but enduring piece of Canadian identity and economic heritage. Next, the 2018 Canadian 5-cent coin represents a modern continuation of one of Canada's longest-running coin designs, famously featuring the beaver, a national symbol of industriousness, resilience, and the historic fur trade that shaped Canada's early economy. Issued by the Royal Canadian Mint, this coin carries the effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, reflecting her long and influential reign as the head of state and Canada's constitutional monarch. By 2018, Elizabeth II had been queen for 66 years, making her the longest reigning monarch in British and Canadian history, and her portrait on the coin embodies continuity and the deep-rooted traditions of the Commonwealth. Despite its small denomination, the 5-cent coin retains a prominent role in everyday Canadian transactions, although its actual purchasing power has greatly declined over time. The obverse front of the 2018 5-cent coin features the fourth portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Susanna Blunt, introduced in 2003. This portrait shows the Queen facing right, wearing no crown but a simple pearl necklace, conveying a modern and approachable image compared to earlier effigies that depicted her with regal headwear. Surrounding her portrait is the Elizabeth II de Regina, which stands for Elizabeth II by the grace of God Queen. This design reflects a mature and dignified queen, a figure who witnessed decades of Canada's evolution as a multicultural, prosperous, and globally respected nation. The reverse back of the coin maintains the classic beaver design created by G.E. Kruger Gray in 1937, which has become one of the most recognizable motifs in Canadian numismatics. The beaver is shown crouched on a log or mound surrounded by water, symbolizing hard work and resourcefulness, traits deeply connected to Canada's identity. Above the beaver is the word Canada, while the denomination 5 cents appears below with the date 2018 beneath the beaver. The designer's initials, KG, are subtly located near the base of the design. The coin features a smooth, plain edge standard for the denomination. In terms of specifications, the 2018 Canadian 5-cent coin was struck using a modern composition of steel core plated with nickel, with an additional multiply nickel layer to provide durability, resistance to corrosion, and a bright silvery finish. It weighs 3.95 grams, has a diameter of 21.2 millimeters, and a thickness of 1.76 millimeters, consistent with the dimensions introduced in the year 2000, when the Royal Canadian Mint transitioned to a multiply plated steel format for most circulating coins. This shift from pure nickel to plated steel reflects cost efficiency and the growing focus on advanced minting technologies in the 21st century. The mintage for 2018 was in the tens of millions, with a majority struck for regular circulation at the Royal Canadian Mint's Winnipeg facility, identifiable by the absence of any special mint mark. Standard coins bear no letter. Additionally, limited numbers were produced in proof-like and specimen sets for collectors, featuring superior strikes, polished dies, and mirror-like finishes. These collector versions were struck at the Ottawa facility. From a historical context, the year 2018 was a time when the 5-cent coin, although still produced, was under increasing scrutiny due to its low purchasing power. Following the discontinuation of the Canadian penny in 2012, some discussions arose about whether the nickel, 5 cents, might face a similar fate, but as of 2018 it remained in active use. Its role had shifted more towards being a rounding unit for cash transactions, especially in a largely digital payment-driven economy. The numismatic value of the 2018 Canadian 5-cent coin is generally modest for circulation strikes, typically equivalent to its face value in circulated condition. However, uncirculated, mint state coins, particularly those graded MS65 or higher, can carry a slight premium among collectors who aim to build complete modern Canadian coin collections. Proof and specimen strikes with flawless surfaces and strong strikes hold higher collector interest and can range from a few dollars to more, depending on set packaging and market demand. No major error varieties are widely documented for the 2018 issue, but as with most modern coins, occasional striking anomalies such as die cracks, misaligned strikes, or off-metal planchets can exist and are highly collectible if authenticated. Symbolically, the 2018 5-cent coin represents Canada's commitment to maintaining its traditional coinage while embracing modern minting techniques. The continued use of the beaver reflects an enduring connection to Canada's natural heritage and historical trade, while the portrait of Elizabeth II highlights the stability and continuity of Canada's constitutional framework. The coin also serves as a reminder of Canada's transition from traditional nickel to more cost-effective environmentally conscious materials and reflects the Mint's global leadership in advanced coinage technology, with its multiply plating process being one of the most secure and counterfeiting resistant methods in the world. Thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe my channel for more videos.